Babbling Bards podcast.
A podcast made by Xenites.
For Xenites. I'm Trista.
I'm Liliana.
And it's been a long time.
It's ridiculous. It's been a little while.
A little while?
Yeah.
So this is how I wanted this year to go. I wanted so hard for Girls Just Want to Have Fun to be our Halloween episode.
Yep, we did, but...
And then I wasn't sure what I wanted for Turkey Day to be our episode, but none of that happened. Because technology is a rank, arrogant bastard. That's why. I did do two live videos on Facebook while you were gone. Liliana went to see her mom for the holidays. And I had to work, so I kicked around at the house, and when I would get bored, I'd pop on and talk for like 40 minutes at a chunk about absolutely nothing on our Facebook page. Like, absolutely nothing.
No, you talked about the animated one.
I did talk about the animated Xena. It was rough. It was rough, man.
A little bit. It's been a long time since I've seen that one.
Oh, we actually have to rewatch that.
We had a request to do a podcast on Battle for Mount Olympus.
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
And it was requested by one of our followers on Twitter and also Facebook. And she's like always with the encouraging stuff. And so we definitely want to make sure that we do that. But
so we'll do that. We don't know when.
That came from Olivia.
Yeah.
Olivia.
Who got really excited because Renee said hi to her on Renee's live thing she did yesterday.
Yeah, Renee O'Connor, for her film Beyond the Farthest Star, she did this announcement. It was supposed to be an announcement. She was so excited she couldn't wait until 3:30 when it was supposed to start.
Yeah.
She popped on at 3:15, something.
No, it was
3:30. No, it wasn't.
Really?
It wasn't. Her live thing was 16 minutes long, and she popped on because she got so excited. She was like, I can't wait anymore. I want to go ahead and do it. I couldn't wait. She got so excited she couldn't do it. So she was doing that. She was supposed to announce a Q&A yesterday, and she did. She's like, okay, these are your guys' questions, so ask me questions, and then she's going to answer them next Monday because the film releases on Tuesday.
Right.
So Olivia posted, hi Renee.
Everybody's saying hi.
She's
naming off names of people who are saying hi. She said hi back.
Yeah. And then Olivia, saw that she said hi, or Renee said, hi, Olivia. And
I told Tristan, watch, Olivia's gonna get so excited because she got a hi, and then
wouldn't you?
And then sure enough, a couple minutes later, we get a tweet from Olivia.
She said hi to me. It was adorable.
It was.
But yeah, and we were really excited for her too.
Yeah.
Well, anybody that's a fan that gets shout outs. I mean, you encourage that.
Yep.
Yeah. So that was awesome. Make sure that you tune in Monday for answers to your questions.
Yep, she'll answer all the questions that were posted.
Yeah.
So,
well, she's going to try and answer as many of them as she can. There were 637 questions for a final total.
Oh, my goodness.
I don't know if I told you that.
No.
Yeah.
Wow.
637 questions were answered. Or were asked.
She'll need more than 15 minutes for that.
Yeah. Well, I think the next one's going to be about an hour long. I don't know for 100%. I almost said too much.
Uh-huh.
The jury's still out on how long that'll be.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Get your pre-orders in. There's still time.
Still time for pre-orders.
By the 5th.
Pre-orders count. There's actually pretty exciting news at the Beyond the Farthest Star front, which, for those of you guys that are Renee O'Connor fans, is massive news. Every Walmart in the United States is ordering 20,000 copies of Beyond the Farthest Star.
Mm-hmm.
That's
huge.
That's huge. That is a lot of revenue. That means that their actors and their crew members are going to be able to make more cash flow than what they would have been.
Than what they expected, yeah.
Because independent film is really, you work for the love of the craft.
Yeah.
You don't make a ton of money.
Mm-mm.
I mean, usually the film ends up belly up because, sales.
Yeah.
But, so it's really huge that Walmart's going to be one of the key players in it. That's massive. They're also running a contest when you go to Walmart and you buy a copy of Beyond the Farthest Star and you take a selfie in Walmart. take a selfie of yourself with it. Have somebody shoot a picture of you while you're buying it at the register or whatnot, and send it to Beyond the Farthest Star on Facebook, and your name will go into a drawing to win one of the canvas wraps.
Ah, that's right.
Of the artwork that was inspired from the movie, and Renee O'Connor is painted in the artwork, so
she's in there.
There's something for you Xena fans.
There's a little Renee in there.
And the piece is really gorgeous.
Yeah,
like the canvas is gorgeous.
It is. And then they're also doing 3 giveaways on their Facebook page.
That's right.
I actually reposted that on the Babbling Bards page.
Yeah.
They're
Today,
giving away.
I think the first question that they ask, because what they're doing is asking a question every day for today, tomorrow, and Friday.
Yeah.
You go on Beyond the Farthest Star on their Facebook, and you answer that question. Like today, it's you send one sentence of why you're looking forward to seeing the film.
Right.
Your name goes into a drawing to win a copy of the DVD.
Right.
Free copy of the DVD.
Yep. So they're giving away three copies.
Yep.
3 lucky winners. So head over to their Facebook page, put down a sentence of why, you're looking forward to the film, and you'll be entered into the drawing. And let me see, they're doing picking the winner at 6 p.m. Pacific.
6 p.m. Central time. Your answers have to be in by, I think it's 3:30. No, 3:50. 3:50 Pacific time. Because the last answer can be in by 5:50 Central Standard Time. So yeah, make sure you guys get in there. I did put out a question for Renee yesterday on the Facebook because a lot of what we've been running into, I personally have been running into, and I mean, you guys, know us enough by now to know we're totally open-minded.
Yeah.
But I put the question out there because what I've been running into personally when, plugging Beyond the Farthest Star with Xena fans, I asked Renee the question, what would you say to someone who is skeptical about buying the movie because they don't want, scripture pounded over their heads, and they pretty much don't want beat up by Jesus, And so, we'll see what that answer is, but actually one of the ladies that's seen the film responded back, hey, it's about a preacher and his wife, but in no way do you feel like it's being crammed down your throat. And so, I was like, well, that's good if you've got another viewer that's seen it, But I think that's a lot of what's hurt pre-sales, because you have people that are torn between supporting Renee.
Yeah.
And hey, religious propaganda.
Right.
And that's one of the huge things. Christians are always trying to save people. I mean, and some of them not in a very positive way. So that hurts a lot. And I don't think people really understand the repercussions of the way that they talk to, treat, and approach people.
Right.
Because not everybody's open to it. They're just not, I mean, I was raised Christian.
Yeah.
My first job was at a Christian bookstore. I met Bodie and Brock, the ones that, wrote the book based off the movie.
Yeah.
And they're super nice people. But I think it's just a lot in the approach. So if it's gone about in a tasteful way, I don't have a single problem with buying a film like that that's safe for, the kids to watch. Because that's one of our biggest fears, Yeah. Well, maybe not fears, but, that's one of our biggest concerns now is, there's so much garbage out there.
Yeah.
You don't want kids to watch it. I mean, when they're 18 and it's their decision, go ahead. But it's just, I don't know, man. So I, for one, find it refreshing. But I haven't seen it yet either. So, but, I mean, I do have faith in Renee O'Connor, and if she's, backing it, then, I mean, she's not Kevin Sorbo.
No.
So, okay, we need to get going.
Okay.
Jeez, you're not supposed to let me prattle on like that.
Stop it. That's enough, Trista. Anyways.
So we open with a blooper for Remember Nothing.
Remember Nothing. Yes. That's the episode we're supposed to be covering right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're covering it.
October 7th, 1996. Original air date.
10!
Yes, you are. So, blooper. Go for it.
Yeah, we open with an oopsie. We open with an oopsie. Okay, so when you're watching as Gabrielle's thing, I think the line's like, how much further? I think is what she says.
Yeah.
But when we're opening with that scene and she's like, how much further? If you watch the scenes, Gabrielle's in her Little House on the Prairie outfit.
All right.
She's back in her Podidea outfit.
She is.
But when we get to their first close-up,
When we get to the temple.
when we get to the temple, she's in Amazon clothes. She changes clothes really fast.
Right? So, obviously they use scenes from
Yeah, it's what they it's what they call a stock shot.
stock shots. Okay.
For those of you guys that don't know what that is,
Uh-huh.
it's a shot that was recorded previously so that they could recycle it throughout the episodes. But most of the time, you don't have to worry about continuity errors. Because usually stock shots are shot from far away. And I think this is actually the third time we see the same stock shot. Mm-hmm. And you can tell because it has the, like...
That funky tree?
That funky tree in the background. Well, it's like, the Buffy episode.
Uh-huh. Which one?
The Freshman.
Mm-hmm.
Episode The Freshman, and also the episode Hush. They use the same stock shot from The Freshman. You can see Buffy standing right in the middle in that funky dress that has, like, the cherries on it. You can see her, like, center frame in both pictures. But, people usually will write it off as being, oh, it's just a random student milling around, but it's not.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's the case with, like, Xena, except you can't overwrite it as, it's two completely different characters because, Xena, 6 foot tall warrior, and Gabrielle, itty bitty tiny bard. So, but anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, they're on the way to the Temple of the Fates, which I guess this is something Xena does
every year
to honor her brother Lysias. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This is actually the first episode that we have a concept of time for Xena with, because she mentions that Lysias's life ended 11 years ago. Mm-hmm. Well, we know that Solon's 9 years old.
Yeah.
And so her rising to... Xena's rising to, like, power and all the brutality that she caused and everything happened in the course of 2 years. Like, everything. Her going to Chin, her meeting up with Barias.
Yeah.
Caesar.
She did a lot in 2 years.
She did a lot in 2 years, and that's one of the big debates among fans, actually, is, how did she do all that in 2 years? There's no way she did all that in 2 years.
Right?
There's actually some speculation. I mean, even the Hercules episodes would fit in right there in that time frame.
Wow.
Because some fans have actually speculated that maybe after Hercules, she didn't turn into one of the good guys. That maybe she did go through and do, like, crappy stuff after she gave Solon up.
I don't know.
I don't know either, but, I mean, this is the first episode that we really have a concept of how Xena's lifeline has worked.
Yeah.
And it's like, dude, she's a busy woman.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, Alti killing an Amazon tribe, everything happened in 2 years' time, and it's like, you see that she's in, like, during the course of the series, you can see how many winters she's been through. Mm-hmm. You can see how many summers she's been through. See how many wars she's been through. So it doesn't maybe chronologically make that much sense.
Uh-huh.
But according to the creators, 2 years is plenty of time.
Okay. She was busy.
She was a busy woman. She was a busy little warrior.
Yes, she was.
Yes.
Okay.
Which, I mean, she died in 6 years, so I guess it can happen.
So, yeah. They make it to the temple, and
you're blank? Don't you remember the soldiers start attacking the priests of the temple?
That's right.
Because this is an oopsie too, actually. So there's 2 oopsies right off the bat. Possibly 3 if you count the timeline. So you hear swords clanging.
Yeah.
The priests are unarmed.
Well, yeah.
But you hear the sounds of swordplay. You hear metal on metal. And the only people that have metal
would be Xena, because Gabrielle's got her staff.
That's right. Would be Xena and would be the other soldiers.
Right.
But you hear swordplay. That's what catches Xena's attention. is the sound of swords on swords.
Huh.
But the priests have no weapons.
I never, really paid attention to that.
That's what I'm here for.
Were they fighting each other?
Maybe. May have been friendly fire.
So, yeah. They're fighting. Gabrielle yells at Xena, "Hey, behind you!" And she stabs the soldier. Mm-hmm. But when he falls down, helmet, falls off his head, and she realizes it was just a kid.
And then Xena is, just like, oh my god, because we know from Xena's code...
She doesn't kill women or children.
That's right.
I mean, and he was a kid.
Yeah.
So.
But back in those days, they'd send, 9, 10-year-old boys to go off and fight.
Yeah.
And be warriors,
Yeah.
But you can see it takes a toll on Xena, because when she looks at this kid, all she sees is her brother. And you can tell that because the way that she looks at him, and then when we see Lycius, when her life's altered.
Yeah.
I mean, they are not identical by any stretch of the word, but there are enough similarities that you could see why she would like one to the other. You know what I mean?
Well, so then she goes running back into the temple.
Mm-hmm.
And the Faiths appear.
Mm-hmm.
Grateful that she saved their temple, so they're pretty much offering her a reward.
Because they're the Fates. The Fates are badasses.
And the Faiths' names are?
Huh?
What are the names of the Faiths?
Oh! Well, there's, the maiden, the mother, and the crone.
Their names.
Okay, so the maiden is Clotho. The mother is Lycosis.
Lycosis, okay.
And the crone is Atropos.
I can never remember Lycosis.
Lycosis. Do you know how I remember Lycosis?
How?
Because that's usually the hardest for me to remember, but in a solstice carol, I have this burnt-in image in my head of Lucy Lawless going, Lycosis, the second of the Fates. That's what always goes through my head. So
very good.
That's the only way that I keep it straight. It's when she's dressed up. When she's dressed up?
Yeah, I know.
But that's the only way I keep it straight. It's because I have her in that goofy-ass voice going, Lycosis.
That was funny.
So now you know how I remember.
So the three Fates, who were they the daughters of? Pop quiz. Dun, 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 dun.
The Jeopardy theme just makes it worse.
Dun, 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 dun.
No, I know this.
I
actually think I told you this one time.
I don't know.
It's Hera. It's not Hera.
No, it's not Hera.
Huh. I know this. Oh, my Lanta.
Would you like a clue?
Give me a clue.
Well, you should get it from this one. Knight.
Nyx?
Nyx.
Okay. That's right!
Ding, 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 ding.
No, that's right. It is Nyx.
And
the reason I know that...
Why?
Because when I was doing research for my novel...
Yeah.
I'm working on... I was going back and forth with what to call the parallel universe. Couldn't decide whether to call it Nyx or Asteria.
Right.
Because I needed one or the other, and I remembered reading that. I think that's when I told you. God, see, I put it out of my mind, and then pop goes the Trista.
Yeah. Okay, so
right.
So we know, the three Fates have to do with, your life.
Mm-hmm.
So what do each of the
Aries.
So what do each of the three do? What is their role in your thread of life?
Clotho guides the loop, or guides the thread. Lycosis. Oh, I don't know how to say that in English. I know what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say it in English. Because, see, when I would hear, the Fates legends, I would hear everything in Italian.
In Italian, yeah.
So, because my dad's side of the family is very much into the mythos and everything. So there's some phrases in Italian that don't translate over.
Right.
I don't know. She's the one that, guides the thread. Make sure there's no tangles, right? I don't know how to say what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
I know Atropos is the one
that snips
she
it.
ends your life.
Yeah.
She's the Grim Reaper.
So Clotho, she, spins the thread.
She spins the thread.
Lycosis
Lycosis
determines how long it will be, And then, Clotho takes your life. Not Clotho, Atropos. Snips it. So, yeah.
She castrates your thread?
Yes.
That sucks. She neuters you.
Yes.
That blows.
So, yeah. That's your little pop quiz for today.
My little poppin' quiz. Okay. How did I do?
Very
good. Failed, didn't I?
Nah, not at all. Okay. Anyways.
Right.
So Xena pretty much, was like, well, I just want that boy's life back. And then she makes the comment that she wishes that she never took up the sword. Mm-hmm. So the fates are pretty much, okay, it's done.
So be it. All is restored.
Until the first time you spill blood in anger. And she's just like, huh?
And we know Xena doesn't take anger management classes.
No.
She doesn't.
No.
She did hold off for a while, though.
And she did say, well,
I'm a warrior.
She's a warrior.
How can I obey that?
And then they're like, well, as a warrior, you can't.
Atropos says that.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the thing about Atropos, the fate, is, we always, generally in this time, like this age, this day and time,
yes,
we associate, like, old people as being, like, batshit crazy. I mean, we really do. It's really sad.
Yeah.
The disregard for elderly people that especially the generation coming up has.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, when I was little, if I had talked to an elderly person the way some teenagers talk to elderly people, I would get beaten.
Oh, yeah.
I would get beaten and fitted for cement shoes.
Right.
Is what would happen to me.
So you don't talk to your elderly like that.
You don't talk to your elderly like that. Mm-mm. I mean, even to this day, my grandmother would jump up out of her grave, wring my jaws, jump back down, and then probably jump back up again.
Right.
But, I mean, back in this time, the elderly were looked up to for their wisdom. They weren't viewed as a burden on society.
Right.
So, with that phrase, as a warrior you can't, with that phrase coming from Atropos, that gives you a depth of wisdom, or an insight into her wisdom to see, because Atropos also had foresight. Mm-hmm. And she would have to right. look at the end of a life. Right. Because the length's already determined, Yeah. So, for her to be able to look at the end, I mean, she's already told Xena, hey, it's not going to stay this way. Yeah. Because she's like, as a warrior, you can't. Which, for the viewer, should give some sense of calm, because now it's not going to stay in this fuckwitted time period that we've been put in. Right. But people, some of the reviews for this episode were nuts. Like, from back in 96 when it first aired, I went and, dug up a couple of archived forums that... Well, I can't disclose how I got into those. But I went and dug up a few archived forums, and some people were like, oh my god, I don't know how they're ever going to get out of this one. I don't know, because time's been altered, and the fates have altered it, and this and that. And I'm like, it's a TV show. It'll be back to normal next week. Right. Chill the fuck out. Which I was kind of hoping is what would happen when they went 25 years into the future, but it didn't. Because, see, that to me just... I detest that, Yeah. I think that's a cop-out on the writer's parts. But we'll get to that season 5.
Right.
Anyway.
So, yeah. So, time has been altered.
Yes.
She runs out to the temple looking for Gabrielle, but, nobody's there. No Gabrielle, nobody.
Gabrielle has been taken!
Then, all of a sudden, she's in this, blue dress?
It's not blue. It's purple.
Purple?
Why was it purple? We talked about this in the episode, while the episode was going on.
I said, it's purple.
Look, you notice her color?
Why
is that, Liliana? You pop quiz me. Now it's your turn to be popped.
Ow.
I'm sorry.
It hurt.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you.
It's okay. But, I know what it is. I can't explain it. I can't find the right words. Oh my gosh.
I'll give you a hint. She wasn't a peasant.
Yeah, I know. She was, I guess, one of the...
It's because she was middle class.
I was going to say one of the upper class ones.
She's middle class.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've talked about this before because Trista, the big dope that she is, I didn't realize that Gabrielle was a peasant.
Yeah.
Because Gabrielle was in blue,
Okay.
She was in blue and rust, actually. Mm-hmm. earth tone colors. Purple, the color purple was a color that was only worn by people that had money back in these times. You know, because it was really hard to get, and it was only done out of certain dyes. So, you know, that's one thing that clues you into. Xena had a little more cash flow than Gabrielle did, but Cyrene also ran a tavern.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that back then was primary source of income, was you were a tavern owner, because if you sold goods, you didn't make bupkis, because it was a barter system.
Right.
Your tavern people were the only people that made money, you know. But anyway.
Yeah.
Good.
That's exactly what I meant to say.
I know.
Okay.
I know. I read your mind.
Okay.
I meant what you knew.
Exactly. Thank you.
This is one of 2 episodes that we see Lysias.
Mm-hmm.
The only other episode we see him in, can you tell me? Here's your next pop quiz.
Oh, my goodness.
Not big Lysias. He's not big strapping Lysias like this one. Come on.
Ah!
You know this.
I do.
I know.
It's the one with the fish.
Yeah.
Oh. Ah!
Fins,
and that, yes, that one. Yeah. Like, I know which one it is. Yeah. I see it.
Only one of 2, but he's mentioned
right.
a lot in the series.
Yeah.
But we only see him twice.
Yeah.
And one, he's a tiny human.
Uh-huh. This
is also the first song that we hear, no, it's not. It's not the first song we hear Gleed My Gleed, is it?
No.
No, we heard it in Sins of the Past, too.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
I think I hear it later on, too.
We do hear it later.
Yeah.
But I was saying the first, but it's actually the second. Mm-hmm. It's only the second time we hear it.
Yeah. And so, Xena's standing there, and all of a sudden, Lysias pops out. And she's got this look on her face like, oh, you're alive!
Throws herself into his arms.
Yeah. It's just like, sisters. And walks away. But, so, she's pretty much, realized that, hey, time's been altered. Mm-hmm. My brother's alive again.
And at this point, I think she thinks that Gabrielle's just like back in Potadia.
Yeah.
Because Gabrielle would have been okay. So here's the problem with her going back to before she picked up the sword.
Uh-huh.
Gabrielle is younger than Xena.
Yeah.
By a lot.
Yeah.
Like, well, when I say a lot, like an estimated, according to one interview that I saw at one point, between 8 and 9 years. Younger. If this is 11 years earlier, and we know that Gabrielle's like barely like 18, 19 at this point.
Yeah, she would have been tiny.
She would have been little.
Yeah.
So I find it kind of funny.
Yeah.
that when the Fates alter time, they didn't alter Gabrielle's age.
No. They altered her fate?
They altered her fate.
But not her age.
But not her age.
I never thought about that. That's right.
Did that just blow your mind?
Yeah. That's all because, she would have been,
She would have been younger.
She would have been
She would have been about 10.
She would have been a mini Gabrielle.
10, 11, yeah.
Huh. Well, okay.
See, I still have some surprises up my sleeves.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing any sleeves.
Dorks.
I'm not dorks, you're dorks.
Anyways. So...
Your mind's still blown in it. Like, you watch Liliana's face, she's still processing that whole thing.
Jeez. Anyways. So she makes it back to the village.
Mm-hmm.
Acidophilus.
Oh, we need to talk about the Virilis token. That's what drew Xena to the connection between the kid and Lysias. Because the kid had on the Virilis token.
Yeah.
And Lysias kept his Virilis token.
That's right.
Which confused me because Virilis tokens weren't Greek. Virilis tokens were Roman. Mm-hmm. Which I think I told you that. I was like, why are they wearing a Virilis token? Because that's what all the Italian boys get.
Uh-huh.
Well, I don't know that they still get them. But like all of my cousins have Virilis tokens. Which they're a little older than I am. But I mean, all of them were given Virilis tokens on like, I think their 11th birthday. 11th, 12th birthday.
Okay.
But yeah. So that's the sign that the boys are going into manhood and they're considered a man now. But that was their induction into the army at that point.
Uh-huh.
So anyway. Okay, break it down, Lillian. It's your turn.
Let's see. Back at the village.
Mm-hmm.
Amphibolus. Not
Acidophilus.
like Lucy Lawless says, because she can't remember Amphibolus. So she says Acidophilus.
Amphibolus.
is fun. That's what I said. Amphibolous.
Amphipolis.
Amphibolous. That's what I
There you
said.
Polis means city.
That's what I said. Amphibolous.
You say amphibolous.
Same thing.
It's adorable. But yeah, Lucy Lawless, we were watching one of the, again, for like, what, the third time now?
We were watching a coffee
We
talks.
were watching one of the coffee talks. And it was the second one. It was Coffee Talk 2. And she and Renee were sitting there watching clips of the show and then commenting on them, you know. And she tells Renee, she's like, oh yeah, Gabrielle's been plucked out of her little city of, what was it, Acidophilus? Or And then Renee just busts out laughing. And then she's like, Amphipolis. And she's like, oh yeah, Gabrielle just came out of Amphipolis. And then later, when they were looking at clips from One Against an Army, when they were looking at clips from One Against an Army, you know, Gabrielle says, don't leave me here in Podidea. And Renee's like, Podidea? And she just like cracks up laughing. And then she's like, oh yeah, I was from Podidea. You were from Amphipolis. So that was funny. Anyway. Lysias thinks Xena's like lost it. Like he thinks she's sick.
Yeah.
Because she can't, like he can't understand why her reactions are the way that they are right now. Because, you know, to him nothing's changed. And to her everything's changed.
Everything's changed, yeah.
And he's like, hey, why don't you go lie down? You know, I can handle everything here. You go lay down and...
And then we have the three warlords. Right?
Mezentius from Path Not Taken.
Cricus. Or is it 2? No, right now it's 2.
Right now it's 2, because the other one's coming later.
Right.
Gaskar.
Gaskar? Okay.
Yeah. Cricus from Hooves and Harlots.
Yeah.
And Mezentius from Path Not Taken. The first episode with Marcus.
Yeah. So, they're pretty much all 3 teaming up together.
To take over the whole world. Not just the known world.
The whole world.
Whole world.
And then,
Don't we hear Gleed My Gleed again?
And then, where does Xena go? Does she go into, like, her house?
She goes into the market. And then she goes into her house and...
And then they have this dude coming up behind her.
She grabs him.
Yeah.
She grabs his hand.
She's not sure who he is.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, time change.
She should have killed him anyway. Hope does.
But she actually does know who he is, because, what's his name?
Matthias.
Matthias. Because, you know, when she notices, she's like, you know, oh, Matthias? So,
watch her face, though, when, because Matthias tells her, you know.
Well, who else, you know, would I be? Unless you have another suitor on the side?
But watch Xena's face, because we don't have much subtext in this episode. But part of the subtext in this episode, according to, like, a few of the sites, is Xena's face. Because she's like, suitor?
What?
Like, she looks like she wants absolutely no part of it.
Right.
At all. And she says, No, I don't. I don't have another suitor.
I hope.
But they're like, well, when she says, I hope, they were like, somebody posted on one of the forums, she says, I hope, because she doesn't want to be running around on Gabrielle. And at this point, she's not sure where Gabrielle is.
Yeah.
You know. At least we, the viewers, don't think she is.
Yeah.
But we don't know for certain.
And then we find out that Cyrene is no longer there.
Cyrene went toes up.
Yeah.
She was killed when they attacked, and Xena and Lysias ran. You know.
Yeah, when Cortez
attacked. Invaded. Yeah.
So instead of losing Lysias,
she lost her mom.
Because in the normal time, whatever, yeah, she lost was Lysias. So now, in this time...
All magic comes with a price.
Right? Exactly. I mean, and obviously she's heartbroken over that. So...
Well, wouldn't you be?
Well, yeah, of course. And then they have...
Did you know that this was the first episode that Xena referred to herself as Xena Warrior Princess?
No.
And we'll get to that later. But
okay.
Yeah, this is the first episode where she actually calls herself Xena Warrior Princess. She calls herself Xena Destroyer of Nations before she calls herself Xena Warrior Princess. Which I think is kind of funny. But anyway.
Then we have Lysias and...
Matthias.
Matthias. Terrible with names.
I know. It's okay. Sometimes she forgets mine.
No, I don't. What is it again? Just kidding.
That's why I get called Honey.
But they're like pretty much, Xena's a bit woohoo today.
She's a little cookie.
She's a little, like, foggy and dazed, and yeah. And Matthias is all like, well, maybe she's coming down with something.
You know how men always blame that on, or like, if a woman can't have a mood swing without, or like be pissed off at her husband without the husband thinking that she's getting sick.
Getting sick, or,
It's that time of the month. Fucktards.
Anyways.
Where are we? We're in the market, right?
I believe so.
Aren't we back in the market?
I believe we're back in the market.
Okay.
Oh, isn't this where...
This is where she runs into Gabrielle.
Is it where she runs into Gabrielle?
I think.
Yeah. What, isn't it, one of the soldiers is there, and she kind of almost picks a fight with him?
Yeah.
Is it this scene?
Yep.
Yeah. It is. Okay. Yeah, because he's got Gabrielle with him?
Mm-hmm. Well, when they bring in the slave girls, she walks.
She's among them.
She's among them, yeah.
Right. Okay. And then, Xena being Xena, hey, that's Gabrielle, tries to save her from a beating. Mm-hmm. Because doesn't she, like, drop something, and then...
She drops something, he calls her clumsy.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll teach you, and Xena's like, don't you touch her.
Yeah. And then, she's ready to kick his butt, and then Matthias comes in, and...
Because, again, we also know that if one person can bring out the warrior spirit of Xena...
It's Gabrielle.
It's Gabrielle. Mm-hmm. And Gabrielle being in danger.
Yeah. And so, Matthias comes in, this is all a big misunderstanding, and something about
They were looking for a new slave, and...
Yeah. And then, that one would be...
like, yeah, that's right.
Uh-huh.
How much is she?
Yeah. So, but doesn't he say something like, "Oh, Mezentius likes her too much"?
Likes her too much.
Yeah. Okay. So then they leave, and Xena's just like, So obviously, she's gonna try to save her.
Well, she's trying to break away from Matthias the whole time. Mm-hmm. And
he's just
holding her. They're taking her away. What do you think you're doing?
Yeah.
And Xena's all like confused because Matthias is like, we don't understand what's gotten into you. Lycius is worried, I'm worried. What the hell's going on? And Xena's all like, Lycius sent you?
Mm-hmm. Obviously, he doesn't understand why she's so upset over a slave girl.
Yeah.
Because, and he makes the comment that, you're acting as if slavery was a crime.
And she's like, it is. But we see, too, that Matthias kind of rides the line. You know what I mean? Because Xena and Lycius are both against slavery.
Yeah.
Matthias is like,
whatever.
Yeah, he's like anything to keep his head down so he can have a nice, comfortable life.
Right.
He doesn't so much care about...
Yeah. And then, he makes the comments, you can't change the world no matter what you think.
Yeah.
And then we have the mother...
Lycus.
Lycus appears.
Say it. You want to say it like that.
So we have one of the fates appearing, saying that, he's wrong. All you gotta do is spill blood and everything goes back to the way it was. One drop and everything goes back to how it was.
Mm-hmm. And Xena tells her, she won't take her brother's life.
Yeah, she's determined not to change anything, because... Yeah.
And Lycus says, well, what about your friend's life?
She can change that too.
That's what Xena said.
Because she's Xena.
She's like, I'll free her, Gabrielle will be fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then she makes the comment, it's Gabrielle, how different could she be?
Well, because Lycus tells her, she's like, things are different here and people are too. Mm-hmm. And Xena doesn't... which I don't think anybody... Unless they've been in, like, a really, 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 really bad relationship, understands, like, how much a spirit can be crushed.
Yeah.
Once they see so much ugly. And there's, like, Slave Gabrielle, there's no telling what she's been put through.
Mm-hmm.
You know, especially with a warlord.
Right.
Because Mezentius, even in Path Not Taken, had a reputation for being an ass.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for being a monster, he was called a couple of times.
Right.
Because of things he did to women. So there's no telling what Gabrielle's been put through at this point.
Yeah.
And I don't think Xena took that into account. You know, because Xena's never wanted any harm to come to Gabrielle anyway. So I think this is like Xena trying to stay positive. Oh, nothing's happened to her. She's fine, you know.
Yeah.
But she wasn't.
No.
She was an angry little potadian.
She was.
Yeah.
Then we have Mezentius and Cricus again. Mm-hmm. And Gabrielle.
Mm-hmm. This is a scene Renee O'Connor loved doing.
Yeah. She loved the whole spitting in his wine. And
she looked rough in this episode.
She did.
She looked rough. I mean, makeup did a hella good job. Because she was wearing makeup. She was wearing just enough makeup to make her look like rough.
She was a slave.
Like she was a slave, yeah.
Yeah.
Mezentius, all sweet thing.
Sweet thing.
Sweet thing.
But you can see she enjoyed spitting in his wine and letting the dog lick the bread before it took a bite out of it. I was like, ugh.
I think we both fought gag reflexes when he ate after the dog licked it.
Yeah.
We were like, ugh.
Yeah. But, they're talking about attacking Amphibolus. But, yeah, they're talking about attacking it, and then they mention Lycius about how he could give them trouble, right? So.
And his sister.
And his sister, who stood up to Cortez. Mm-hmm. And then they're all like, well, if they thought Cortez was bad, what'll they think of us?
Yeah. Then we cut Matthias and Lycius, and Matthias is going off about how Xena's lost her mind.
She's crazy!
Mm-hmm. So, but Matthias is like, she tried to take on a slave boss, and it's the slave boss that orders from Mezentius, and Lycius is relieved.
Yeah.
And then we find out that she's still, well, we haven't seen her do it, but that she still spars with him. Mm-hmm. They practice their sword play and their fighting.
Yeah. So, pretty much Matthias doesn't want to do anything. He doesn't want to interfere. He doesn't want to fight. But Lycius is the opposite. Mm-hmm. I mean, he wants to fight and protect everybody and prevent them from attacking their village. Mm-hmm. Matthias just wants to tuck his tail and run.
Yeah. And Lycius is just pointing out. So Xena didn't get hurt. Mm-hmm. And then we go back to the shop. And we see...
What was it that Xena goes to grab? I think she was just going for information.
Yeah, she was.
And then she ended up... what was that, a chicken?
Yeah, it was. It was a chicken.
Uh-huh.
Or squab, maybe? Pheasant?
I don't know.
It was smaller than a chicken. It was smaller than a bread box. Mm-hmm. I think it was a squab. That's what it looked like.
Yeah.
But
so, I guess they're, putting together supplies... Because she makes the comment, oh, I suppose you're taking those supplies to Mezentius. Mm-hmm. Obviously she's dishing for information here. And,
store owner asks her if she's looking for a job.
Yeah.
She's like, no, just dinner.
Uh-huh. And she's all, well, then your men will be leaving early, right? And, so, he tells her, when they're leaving and everything. So she got her information.
And she goes back and goes off at Lycius.
Uh-huh.
Like, son of a bloodsucking Buckeye. That's what all slavers are.
Yeah. And Lycius is just like,
I think he's trying to play it down to calm her down.
Uh-huh.
Because he doesn't strike me as being the same mindset as Matthias was.
Yeah.
And then he brings up the Amazons and, he's like, look what happened to the Amazons.
Yeah. It's just like the Amazons. And then, oh, yeah. Okay, I guess they're a good example. Mm-hmm. But she obviously doesn't know what happened to the Amazons.
Mm-hmm. Or the Centaurs.
Or the Centaurs, yeah.
And then we find out that in this reality, Cricus has overtaken the Centaurs and the Amazons both, Yeah. But Xena's all trying to formulate a plan. Mm-hmm. Lycius is like, well, what can you do? And then entered the supply wagon.
Which she's stowed away on.
Uh-huh.
And you have the troops, they start stabbing at the hay that's in the supply wagon, to see if anybody's hiding in there. what is it that they stabbed? Wineskins?
Wineskin, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
wine starts shooting out.
It
But
does.
they make it look like, oh, it's blood that's coming out, but it's not.
It doesn't look anything
doesn't
like
look
blood.
like
it.
it.
Looks like grape Kool-Aid.
But, I mean, he sees that squirt up. He starts stabbing away like crazy. I'm all like, dude, it's just wine. Jeez. But anyway, so he, what it ushers the wagon on. You're drunk. Go on. You shouldn't even be allowed on the road. On the road.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Which is an odd to, of course, drunk driving laws now.
Uh-huh.
I think we laughed about that when it came on, because that was the first time that I caught that. And I said, you're drunk, you shouldn't even be allowed on the road.
Uh-huh.
That was the first time I caught it. Anyway.
And then we have Xena and Gabrielle.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Xena just wants her to get out of there, and Gabrielle's just like got this look on her face like, what the hell are you trying to do?
Somebody was pointing out that Xena didn't appreciate the fact that Gabrielle was straight in this episode.
Oh yeah, I read something about that.
Did you? Pointing out
Yeah.
that they didn't like the fact that Xena wasn't happy with the fact that Gabrielle was straight.
Yeah.
Because when in this scene in particular, when Gabrielle, she asks Xena, why are you so interested? There's this look that comes over Xena's face, and Gabrielle gets just like this disgusted look on her face, like,
Right.
oh,
Yeah.
So it's like Xena was shot down. But, which I didn't pick up on that until we watched it this time either,
Yeah.
because that was on one of my subtext boards that I was looking at. I was like, sheesh. So you read it too, so it wasn't just one of my things?
I don't know, maybe you mentioned it.
I don't know.
I don't remember now.
I don't either.
I don't
It's
remember.
been like a month.
It's been, yeah. I don't remember.
Yeah.
But anyway. So, at this point, Gabrielle pretty much thinks that Xena's crazy.
That she just wants a little potadian.
And then, she says something like, because obviously
It's
Xena
not
wants...
Gascar, it's Capucius.
What?
Capucius. That's
Oh.
the other warlord. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
I've been racking my brain trying to figure out and remember
The
who
other
it
one.
was.
Okay, yeah.
And trying to hold a conversation. So.
Yeah. I mean, Gabrielle makes the comment, do you know what they even do to runaway slaves? And then Xena's all like, oh, Gabrielle, I'm sorry. And she's just like...
It's because
how do
Gabrielle
you-
shown her back.
Yeah.
When she says, do you know what they've done to runaway slaves? And then she pulls her shirt down in the back.
Yeah.
And you see, like, old scars from where she's been, like, whipped.
Yeah. And then she's just like, how do you know my name? And who are you? But she's, just told her that she just wants to help her. And, she mentions her brother Lysias, and then Gabrielle's just like, well, Lysias? The same Lysias that stood against Cortez? And then she tells her how she overheard, Mazentius and Cricus.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Xena's just like, they're sworn enemies.
Yeah.
I mean, in the normal timeline, I guess they were sworn enemies, but in this one, they're not.
Yeah. And then, that's when Gabrielle tells him that Capucius is going to join them.
Yeah. So, Xena's just like, whoa, the three of them together? If the three of them come together, nobody's safe.
Mm-hmm. And she's trying to get Gabrielle to go with her, and Gabrielle's like, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
She apparently learned her lesson after getting whipped.
Yeah. She's like, you don't even know me.
And Xena tells her, well, maybe you don't know yourself.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Then we cut to Matthias and Lysias.
Matthias is freaking out because Xena's gone.
Yeah.
Because he's playing, he's actually, okay. So Matthias is actually playing Worrying Wife right now.
Uh-huh.
He's legit playing Worrying Wife.
Yeah.
Because he's the one that's over here fretting, and Lysias is just
like,
chill.
yeah.
Like, she'll be back. She probably just went out for a walk.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
She could take care of herself. And then we have Gabrielle rolling out this big
Giant
barrel of mead, and then the guard, I guess,
Like, what are you
because she's
doing?
taking it to the fire
So it can mull.
so it can mull,
Mm-hmm.
right? Ooh, mulled cider. Anyway.
You want some mulled cider, Leanna?
No, I'm kidding. We can't do that because that like takes cinnamon and stuff, and
I know.
we don't do cinnamon here.
I know. I'm allergic.
But
You ever want to kill me, just send me a package of cinnamon.
no, don't do that. So, you know, he stops her, tells her that I take my meat at full strength, and then he goes to pop off the cork, and nothing comes out
Except for
Xena.
Xena came out of the barrel.
She came out, busted through, you
Bars closed.
right? And
Gabrielle
so,
catches the broom on fire.
yeah.
Because Xena told her to put it out, and so Xena
Then she does
fights
this.
with
Doesn't she do this thing?
She does
what
like
is
a
it?
little seesaw.
Seesaw thing.
A little teeter-totter.
Yeah, grabs Gabrielle, tells her to, you know, hold on or get ready to fly, Gabrielle.
Mm-hmm.
She's all like, what's going on? And then up they go through the ceiling.
Well, Gabrielle first, and then
Yeah.
because she strung one of the soldiers up,
Uh-huh.
and then she gets on the other end.
Yeah.
You know, she sets the rope on fire, and then
He drops and yeah.
and she says, "I hate long flights," and that's when you get Gabrielle that looks at Xena in this episode with the first "Oh my God, you're so cool" expression in her face.
Yeah. So then they're back at Xena's place. She's given Gabrielle one of her mother's dresses.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I mean, and Gabrielle's just like confused, you know, like,
She
why are
doesn't
you
know why
doing
she's
this?
doing it. And Xena tells her, you know, you remind me of my friend.
Mm-hmm.
You remind me of my best friend.
Right. Yeah.
And Gabrielle's like, I do?
And she says, you know, like, when I see you, I see the purest, kindest person. And Gabrielle's just like, well, then you better look
Who
again.
never gives up on anything.
Yeah. And she's just like, well, you better look again, because, you know, that's not me. Not in this timeline.
And then we, somebody pointed out, too, the attraction between Gabrielle and Lycius.
Mm-hmm.
Because Lycius is just like, hi!
Yeah. Well, yeah. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So, it looks like he had a little crush going there on
Little
Gabrielle.
crush. And Xena
And
noticed
then-
it, too, and was just kind of like, ugh.
And then this is like where we find out that Matthias pretty much has
He's handed them over,
he's
pretty much.
stabbed it in the back, I guess.
I can't stand Matthias.
I don't care for him either.
And you know, it's like sweet retribution in the episode Gabrielle's Hope.
Uh-huh.
Because the guy that plays Matthias plays the soldier that Hope kills.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
I just realized that.
Did you?
Ah,
Yeah,
okay.
The guy that plays Matthias plays the soldier that Hope kills.
That Hope kills. Yeah.
And it was like, yes!
That's right. Oh, okay.
Did I teach you something?
Yeah, I didn't like realize that till just now. Okay. So then, apparently, he made a deal with the soldiers, and soldiers and warlords being who they are, don't necessarily stick to some of their deals.
No, they stick to the deals, but they always look for the loopholes.
Yeah. So, Matthias thinks that they're just going to take Gabrielle, but instead, they take all of them. You know, it's like, well, we had a deal. Obviously, deals changed.
Mm-hmm.
And then, Lycia throws a sword at
Xena.
Xena, and she just lets it drop, and she's just like, no, I can't. And Lycius can't figure out what's wrong with her.
Because she hasn't told anybody what's wrong with her.
No. And then we see them all strung up.
Lycius is having, like, severe sibling rivalry issues when they're locked up. Because Xena tries to give him some, you know, big sister advice. Which is like Kayla tries to do to the boys all the time.
Uh-huh.
You know. She's like, try cutting against the grain. And he says, well, I'm surprised you care one way or another.
Yeah. Seeing as how you sold us out. And she's all like, oh, you're confusing me with Matthias. Because, yeah, he's the one that sold them out.
Yeah. Well, Lycius is just pissed off because she didn't fight. Because he's like, we could have taken those guys on.
Yeah. But, yeah, so they're, like, strung up in these cages.
Mm-hmm.
And then...
Lycius tells her that he'd rather die fighting.
Right.
Yeah, he said, I'd rather die fighting.
Mm-hmm.
then live with myself if I don't fight.
Yeah. So he's like confused as to why she didn't fight and why she didn't pick up the sword.
But see, Xena's got in her mind this entire time that she's protecting her brother. Because she doesn't want him to die again.
Yeah. So she just says that it was because she was afraid. And he's all like, well, we're all afraid. We're all afraid to die. But, there's some things that are worth fighting for.
And he tells her, our friends, Gabrielle, these dudes,
gotta be stopped. Yeah.
And then she's like, well, given time. And he's like, well, they'll be unstoppable if we give them any more time.
Yeah.
And he's right, especially with the third warlord joining.
Yeah. And then Xena's apologizing to Gabrielle.
Because Gabrielle's crying.
Yeah.
She's crying in her cage.
Because, she had a taste of freedom. And it was just snatched away. And then we have the soldiers coming in. And then one soldier knocks out the other soldier. And then we see that it's Matthias. And so he frees them. Or, does he throw the dagger up to Xena, or does it just fly up when he knocks the other soldier out or something? Because she catches it.
It flies up.
Yeah. Okay.
I think
so. I don't know if he, knocked it out of his hand, and it just whoosh, flew up. But anyway, she catches a dagger, gets out of the cage, and then... So everybody's out of their cages, and then Gabrielle's all like, well, where's Lysias? He's taken off after?
He's taken off after Mezentius.
Mezentius, yeah.
And we see that Xena's not the only one in the family that has quips. That's one thing that cracks me up about Xena, is when she goes to fight somebody, she always has quips for them. You know what I mean? Well, I see this is all thanks for the tribute. Now learn it, So it's like, it's a family trait, I guess. I wonder what Cyrene said when, she started fighting people. I wonder if she did fight people. I'm sure she did. She ran a tavern.
I don't know. So then, obviously, there's fighting, and Lysias keeps wanting her, take the sword. And she just won't.
One of my favorite things is... Lysias is all, arm yourself, and Xena's like, I can't. She says, I can't.
And then this is where...
This is the turning point for Xena in this episode.
So Lysias tells her, don't fight destiny. And then this is where you see Gabrielle picking up the sword, and...
For the first time, we see Gabrielle kill on screen.
So she killed Mezentius? Was it Mezentius?
Mezentius. Here's your sweet thing.
And then you see that look on her face,
Then you see bloodlust.
Yeah.
You see bloodlust pop on her face.
And then this is where Xena realizes that, she's not gonna let that happen.
Yeah.
So she sacrifices her
brother
in order to save Gabrielle from, from what she just did.
She's trying to save Gabrielle at this point from turning into what she was after Lysias was killed.
Yeah.
Because that's the look. Because it's kind of funny if you look at the look on Gabrielle's face. And this was just something I noticed when we were watching the other night. If you look at the look on Gabrielle's face when she stabs Mezentius, and then you look at the look on Xena's face after Malila's killed, and she goes to killing the soldiers on Mount Nestus, you see the same look on her face when she says, a new Xena is born tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's kind of, I think it's kind of cool that they mirrored it like that, because, no further away than the episodes are from each other. I think, my opinion, what it looks like is Lucy Lawless pulled that look from Renee O'Connor so that they had that parallel between the two.
Oh.
But I noticed that when we were watching the other day. I was like, oh, it was the exact same look, just two different faces.
Yeah, well, now that I'm thinking about it, yeah.
It's all gritted teeth and everything.
Yeah. So, yeah. So then we flash back to present day. Normal timeline. And then again we hear Gabrielle yell out, Xena behind you! Only this time, little soldier boy doesn't get doesn't get killed. He doesn't get run through. So
he gets knocked on his ass.
He does, and she's like, well, this is your second chance.
Swear you won't waste it by killing.
Yeah, he's scared shitless.
I swear
it. Get out of here. And then this is where he dropped his Virilis token.
Because he ran like a little boy.
Yeah.
He didn't stay and fight like a man.
Because Gabrielle's like, oh, he dropped something, what is this for?
It was symbolic.
Yeah.
No, Gabrielle said what was it for because Xena hugs her. Like, Xena just reaches over and hugs her, and that's not a very Xena thing for Xena to do.
No, it's just for being you.
And he was like, you okay?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I think Gabrielle's, you okay? You don't seem like yourself. And she's just like, I'm more myself than ever.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
I think it's, to me, this episode is the last episode where Xena's as stoic as what she usually is.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's still very standoffish up until this episode. And then, the next episode, when we go to cover it,
mm-hmm.
you'll see a change in Xena's character.
Yeah.
Because, there's... What? The giant killer, honey.
Yeah. I couldn't remember which episode was next.
It's the more they face off with Goliath. But you see a change in... you already have the friendly banter between Xena and Gabrielle anyway.
Yeah.
But I think with Gabrielle being in danger in this episode,
mm-hmm.
that's one of the turning points to cause Xena to be a little more open with Gabrielle than what she usually is. Because their interaction changes again because second season, their relationship changed anyway after the near-death experience.
Right.
And is their doctor in the house.
Mm-hmm.
And so, now again, you have Gabrielle ripped away from Xena. So now their relationship gets closer, so their interaction gets a little better in the Giant Killer episode. So anyway, that's my 2 cents for what it's worth.
And that's it. That's remember nothing.
We didn't remember anything.
No. So that's episode 2. This is the second episode, right?
Yeah.
Season 2.
Second episode. We got Giant Killer
second
to get
episode.
through. Which wasn't one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It really wasn't.
It was okay. It's the David and Goliath.
Yeah. Disclaimer for this episode.
Uh-huh.
Was Xena's mind was not harmed in any way. What was I saying? That's your disclaimer.
Oops.
Oops. How many chakrams do you give this episode?
I liked it. I'd give it a 4.
You give it a 4? Okay.
What about you?
I don't know. I like it, but Matthias really ruined the episode for me.
Uh-huh.
That and I had to look at Cricus' face, which bothers me anyway, and Mazentius gets on my nerves.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, maybe a 3.
Okay.
Because I like the Fates, and it's the first Fates episode, so
I like
that
the
kind
Fates
of,
too.
That's one of the saving graces.
Yeah.
But anyway.
You gotta like the Fates.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Considering that they decide when our life thread gets cut.
Right.
I'll buy them a Christmas present, hell. But anyway, okay. So, Giant Killer.
It's coming up next. Stay tuned.
Oh, we plugged Beyond the Farthest Star at the beginning.
We did.
We also said that the thing ended by 5:50 Central, 3:30
and that
Pacific.
And
today, that's today.
Which is Wednesday, the 20-something, 29th.
Yeah.
So, I don't know when we're going to get this one up. Hopefully by tomorrow.
Hopefully by today. But if not, and we don't get it up until tomorrow, you have until 3:30 to answer the question on Beyond the Farthest Stars page.
So yeah, it'll be on the 29th, the 30th, and the 1st.
Yeah.
3 giveaways.
Yay!
And then don't forget to tune in on Monday to Renee's Facebook page for her live thing where she answers all the questions.
Yeah, and there are a ton of fake Renees out there, so hers is facebook.com/Renee.O'Connor and the number 1.
So yeah.
So make sure you get the right one, otherwise you'll be disappointed.
Yeah, it's on our Babbling Bards page.
Yeah.
So the link should be somewhere on there.
Should be on there a couple of times. Because I know I've posted it a couple of times and you have too. So.
I have too. So the right link will be on our page.
Yep.
That'll take you to the real Renee.
Yay!
Not the fake ones.
Not the fake
I
Renees.
hate when people do that. I mean, why?
Yeah.
You're not that person. Don't pretend to be that person. Be you.
That's right.
Not pretend to be somebody else. That irritates me.
Be the youiest you that you can be, because only one person can be you, and that's you.
That's you. That's right.
I could write a Dr. Seuss book. Anyway. Alright, so I guess we're gonna head out, watch The Giant Killer.
Uh-huh.
Record the next podcast.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I go to Georgia again next week. So, we gotta knock out a few of them.
Yeah.
Because we're doing a giveaway with Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
We are. Stay tuned for the details.
Yay! Okay. Till next time, guys. Happy chakrams. Battle on.
Battle on. Have a good day, night, evening, whatever. And yeah.
Solstice.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Alrighty.
Alright.
Bye.
Till then, Babbling Bards.
Out.